That free SEO audit is not free. It's a sales pitch with a spreadsheet on top. It took them 20 minutes and it's about to cost you a whole lot more. This is SEO fucking what? I'm Nikki and I've been doing SEO for over 30 years, before it was even called SEO. I help small business owners and B2B service providers make money from their websites by actually getting found on search. And today I want to talk about free SEO audits. Specifically, why most of them are not audits at all. They're sales pitches in disguise. And the difference matters because one of them helps you and the other one helps the agency empty your bank account. Now, I want to be clear before I start. There are obviously legitimate free audits out there. I do them myself, and I'll talk to you about what one looks like later. But the majority of what gets branded as a free SEO audit is a lead generation tool with your URL on the cover. That's not cynicism, that's just what it is. Let me walk you through how it works. You get an email, or you fill in a form on an agency website, or someone slides into your LinkedIn DMs. Whatever the route, within a day or two, you've got a PDF in your inbox. It might be called a free SEO health check, or a complimentary website analysis, or a full SEO audit completely free of charge. The name varies, the structure doesn't. There's usually a big alarming number at the top. Your site has 623 errors, or 847 errors, or 1200 errors. I've seen all sorts. Whatever the tool spat out, color-coded to look catastrophic. Then page after page after fucking page of red and orange. Problems, warnings, issues, all presented at the same volume, all requiring immediate attention. And at the very end, a page about how this agency can fix every single one of these devastating problems for you. Starting from X £1,000 a month. Let's book a call. That's not a service, it's a funnel dressed up as a favour. Here's what went into producing that free audit. They took your URL, they put it into a tool. Screaming Frog, SEMrush, Hrefs, Moz, SE Ranking, one of the standard crawlers that most SEOs use every single day. They ran the crawl. It took about 10 minutes at the most for a small site. Then they exported the results, added some red formatting, dropped in their logo and sent it over. And really, honestly, that is what most free audits are. A crawl report with branding on it. And do you know what makes it really infuriating? That crawl report is always going to find problems. Every site has problems. Even well-maintained, professionally built websites have issues that show up in a crawl. Missing alt text, redirect chains, pages that shouldn't be indexed, meta titles slightly too long. This is not a sign of catastrophe. It's just how websites work. But when you present every single one of those issues at the same volume, with no context about which one actually affects your specific site's performance, everything looks like an alarm. And that, my lovelies, is exactly the fucking point. Nobody gets sent a free audit that says, do you know what? Your site's doing all right. There are 2 things you might want to fix. Here's what to do. Those kinds of audits don't convert to sales. The audit that tells you that Google is about to abandon you entirely and your competitors are pulling ahead every single day you leave this unfixed, that's the one that gets the phone ringing. I've talked about dodgy agency tactics back in episode 9 when I went through the red flags you should be running from. Your red flag number 1 is guaranteed rankings.
We'll get you to number 1 on Google.
No they won't. And here's why. Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, can guarantee specific rankings. And in episode 15, I covered the paid version of this problem, an audit that cost a client thousands of pounds and somehow managed to miss hreflang errors and redirect chains because it was too busy producing charts about ChatGPT citation rates. You want to know what wasn't in this thousands of pounds audit? The 462 hreflang errors. 462. The 631 redirect chains. The 90 duplicate H1 tags. Nearly 1,000 images missing alt text. Basic technical SEO. The stuff that affects how any search system, AI or otherwise, understands and trusts your website. That was the expensive con. This is the free one. Different price point, same fundamental issue. This audit is not built to help you. It's built to sell you something. And this is where it gets properly grubby, because it's not just about the errors. It's about the urgency. They tell you that every day you leave these issues unfixed, you're losing customers. Google is penalising you right now. Your competitors are surging ahead while you read this email. You need to act immediately. And sometimes that urgency is real. Sometimes there genuinely is a serious technical problem dragging your rankings down, and every week matters. But in a free audit from an agency you've never spoken to, who sent you a PDF before asking you a single question about your business, that urgency is almost always manufactured. They don't know if Google is penalising you. They haven't looked at your traffic data or your Google Search Console. They have no idea what your business goals are, or who your customers are, or what's already working. They ran a crawl, found the standard list of things that crawls always find, labelled the whole fucking lot as critical, and are now presenting it as a disaster to make you panic and sign something before you've had time to think. Don't. So what does a real audit look like? I do a lot of these free of charge, and I want to tell you what goes into them, because the contrast with a crawl report in a branded PDF is pretty stark. Stick around. So I recently did a free audit for a B2B service provider whose site had recently been rebuilt. And I want to tell you what went into it, because it's the clearest way I know to show you what the real thing looks like. The first thing in the document was a full disclosure about what I used and how I put it together. The exact tools, what I ran, what I looked at manually with my very own eyes, right there in the introduction. No proprietary methodology, no mystery process, just here's what I did. Second, what the site was actually doing well. The site had strong trust signals, solid content, good positioning. I gave them a section on what was working before I got anywhere near the problems. A dodgy free audit never finds anything that's fine, because fine doesn't frighten you into a contract. A real audit will tell you the truth, which includes what you don't need to worry about. And then the technical issues. Yes, there were problems on the site. There are always problems, but every single problem came with context. So for example, the page speed score wasn't just a bad number sitting on a page with big red flags around it. I explained to the website owner that for someone selling credibility to B2B clients, a slow site is working against you before a prospect has read a single word. The broken schema on the blog post wasn't just flagged as a catastrophic error. I told them that the blog posts on their websites were currently ineligible for rich results in search, and this was why, and here was the fix. And then I gave them a really clear priority order. Fix immediately, fix soon, think carefully about. Not 900 items all labelled critical, a proper assessment of what matters most for this specific site, this specific person, what they're trying to achieve. And the close? A soft offer to work through it together in a one-to-one session if they wanted to. No urgency, no manufactured panic, no every day you wait you're losing money. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. Nikki, if that's your free audit, what do you put in your paid ones? Well, exactly. And that's exactly the question I want you asking. Not just about me, about every agency that sends you a freebie. Because the free audit is supposed to be where they put their best foot forward. It's a sales document, remember. So if what you get is an automated crawl with alarming numbers and no context and no understanding of your business, that is their best foot forward. That is what they think good looks like. And that tells you everything you need to know about what you'd actually get if you paid them. So I'm going to give you 3 questions to run every free audit through before you take it seriously. First of all, did they ask you about your business before sending it? A real audit starts with understanding what you're trying to achieve, who your customers are, what's already working and what isn't. If a 40-page document about your website arrives before anyone has asked you a single question about your business, it was built without that information. which means it can't be about your business. It's a template with your URL in it. Secondly, does it tell you what matters most? Or does it just list everything? Running a crawl and producing a list of issues is not a skill. Every SEO tool on the planet can do that for free. The skill is knowing which issues affect your rankings and your traffic, and which ones are background noise that can wait. If everything in the audit is marked as critical or urgent, none of it is. They're not triaging your problems, they're burying you in them. Thirdly, is the proposed solution entirely hire us? A real audit gives you enough to understand your situation and act on it yourself if you want to. You might still decide you want help, and that's fine, but a genuine assessment of your site tells you what to do, not just that something needs doing and that only this particular agency can sort it. Run any free audit through those 3 questions and you'll know pretty quickly whether someone put real thought into it or just run your URL through a tool and cross their fingers. This week's homework is simple. If you've had a free SEO audit sent to you in the past year and it's sitting in your inbox, get it out. Run it through the 3 questions. Be honest with yourself about what the answers tell you. And if you haven't had one, go and request one from an agency you've been considering. See what arrives and what it tells you about how they actually work. The audit is free. The information about whether this is an agency worth talking to is priceless. If you want to understand your site well enough to spot the difference between a real audit and a panic-inducing spreadsheet designed to scare you into signing a contract, that's exactly what my Non-Wanky SEO course is for. It's my online course at non-wankyseo.com. It'll teach you exactly what matters and why, without the jargon, without the waffle, without anyone trying to frighten you into spending money you don't need to spend. It's £200 as a one-off payment or £20 a month if you rather spread the cost. Either way, you come out of it knowing enough to ask the right questions and to recognise when someone's sending you a sales pitch dressed up as a service. Make sure you're following SEO fucking what wherever you're listening right now so you don't miss the next episode. Until then, get found, make money, and the next time a free audit lands in your inbox, check whether anyone bothered to ask about your business before they told you it was broken.